Well, we're here. We're back. Um, how you doing, Jolin? I am Victor. Nice to meet you. So tell me about yourself, Jolin. I hear that you're a high performing computer analyst working for the new company called Beep Boop. How's that going for you? Tell us about it.
I have this program. It's called Beep Boop, and its main purpose is to basically, when you're researching a product, right? Like, say you want to buy some erasers,
Okay.
but you don't want your hard-earned money to go to these companies that are unethical, that destroy the environment.
Of course, yes. That's what we're all conscious about.
So with Beep Boop, you just type in the name of the company that you want, say Schmeckles Plastic.
Ah, perfect. Of course.
Type
Great
it
example.
in, and there you go. See, score of 38. Not very ethical. I don't
Ooh.
feel comfortable sending my money there. I like how you said Beep Boop, and you didn't even know that I've already seen American Pickle.
I know. Once you went along with the app, I was like, oh, he's seen it. He's seen
Yeah,
it.
God, that
Nice.
was such a good show. Hi, everyone.
Hello, everybody.
Oh, I mean, it's not a show; it's a movie
Yeah, that's
by
the
Seth Rogen.
yeah, it's the one where he plays both leading casts, and it's pretty funny at times.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah,
thoroughly enjoyed it.
but welcome everybody to a new podcast of CafeTalk. Glad you're here to join us. We
Yeah.
appreciate you very much. So getting the real talk for real this time, Jolin. What do we got for the audience, for these beautiful people over here?
Well, I got a conundrum, Victor, that I need to get off my chest.
What could it be? Ooh, have you been?
So, have you ever had a product that has both enhanced your life and ruined it at the same time?
The only thing that comes to mind would be something like around Head and Shoulders. For me, I suppose.
Oh, that's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I just thought of it
God.
right now because I'm like, it really did help me remove my dandruff, but I am terrified that if I ever stop using it, it will just come back in a wave I've never imagined.
Yeah.
But why? What did you have in mind when you were thinking of this?
So, let me set the stage for you.
All right.
All right, I am a connoisseur of sandwiches. I love sandwiches.
Of course, they're so
You know,
versatile. Yeah,
good
I love them
turkey
too.
breast, good deli slice, even to
It's
the
nice.
humble grilled cheese.
Ooh,
I
yeah,
love them
classic.
all.
Mm-hmm.
And you put a wedge pickle next to it. Oh, makes it even
Ooh,
better.
that contrast of sourness, it just
But
goes pretty well.
now I can never go back to eating sandwiches because my life has been enhanced by a panini press.
What? No way, for real?
The panini press has simultaneously enhanced my life and ruined it at the same time.
It's made sandwiches so much better you can never go back to it.
It has. It's added a whole new characteristic to sandwiches by making them toasty, warm, and crunchy.
Ooh, that sounds nice.
And then
Holy
now,
moly.
like, when I go back to just the normal sandwich, I'm like, what is this plebeian food? I can't have this.
What is this untoasted mush? It's so nasty.
Exactly. And I'm like, my life is greater and worse than before this panini press, like after this panini press has joined it.
I
And
can
I'm
imagine.
like,
Because it sounds good. Like, I mean, I remember the first time I tried like an actual deli sub, and I was like, Subway has lied to me my entire life. These Subway is not subs; those are just regular ass sandwiches. And then I went to like a deli mart, and I actually got like a real sub. I was like, the meat is so fresh, it's so toasted, it's so good.
yeah.
But I myself have never owned a panini press, so tell me about it.
And
Like,
the thing,
how
so
good
like,
is it though?
like we talked about this a little bit when I
Uh-huh.
was like spitballing ideas for you at the podcast the podcast, and you were like, well, can't you just toast bread and then make a sandwich?
Yeah, because
My response to that is, not only does the panini press like add a characteristic because it kind of like squishes the bread a little, so there's like these really nice crispy bits along with like pockets of airy crispy bits.
Oh, okay.
Not only does it do that, but the freaking panini press is also healthier because I don't have to put like butter or mayonnaise or like spray down Pam or something on the pan, so that way the toasted bread actually gets toasted.
Yeah.
Like the panini press just does it because it's non-stick.
And it distributes the heat evenly over the bread, so it's like it's not too
Yeah.
much. Gets that perfect toastiness on it.
And it's like I can kind of forget about it versus if I forget about like the toasted bread. Like if you leave like if you're toasting it on a pan, if you leave it for too long, then the inside of your sandwich is burned and it ruins the taste of it.
Oh yeah, big time.
And it's like this panini press is like amazing, and I don't know how I've gone through life without a panini press. But at the same time, I'm like I can never go back to just a normal ass sandwich.
Yeah, it's never the same anymore.
It's not.
That's quite a conundrum, Jolin. Oh my god, what are you gonna do if it ever breaks down on you or like?
I have to get another one. It's like you know, it's like when they created electricity. Like once you have it, you can't just go back.
That's true. Yeah,
there's no going back. With like the invention of the internet, like when you lose your internet, you can't just go back.
Oh, bro, that was
not having internet.
That was me over there in Mexico, and I was like, how do people live?
Yeah.
Luckily, you know, of course, I was surrounded by family members, so I was never bored, and it never came up. But yeah, once I got it back, I was like, oh, sweet internet. I missed.
Yeah.
But when you were telling me about the panini, and like before we started the podcast, the grilled cheese was my main like, you know, example that was going through my mind of like, why not just toast it up? Like everybody likes a grilled cheese. But then now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I could see how the panini press could mainstream grilled cheeses now, and it could just make it like even better.
Yeah.
And I'm like, maybe I should get one myself.
Yeah, you should. And it's like you can put other things in the panini press.
Ooh, like what?
I don't know. It's like, well, I mean, you can put like meat and stuff in it, and you kind of use it as like a Foreman grill.
Oh yeah, I've seen people put like French toast in it, or like make French toast in it.
Yeah.
And it like cooks both sides evenly and perfectly at the same time, so the bread doesn't soak up all the egg and still perfectly like crusty on the outside.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Put other things in it.
Well, okay, so my question is, do you make your sandwiches with or without crust, Jordan?
I make them with crust.
With the crust?
Yeah.
Because that question only came up to my mind right now because I've seen plenty of videos like on YouTube, you know, or Instagram, or you know, just social media in general, where people, I guess like across the world, whenever they make a sandwich, they seem to just cut off the crust, and I'm like, I'm not against it because I know how good a sandwich without crust is, but I'm like, what went through my mind was, what's wrong? Like, why do people hate crust so much? Like, it's not that bad, you know. I like crust.
Yeah, I get you. I don't have a problem with crust.
No.
I mean, even like, what was I gonna say? Because like sourdough bread. You know, part of what makes it good is the crust.
Yeah, that the crust is the part that has like a little extra sourness to it.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, that's so bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then hamburger buns, it's all crust.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like people that don't like crust, they don't take into consideration like hamburger buns being a normal slice of bread.
It reminds me of that episode of like SpongeBob where the guy asking you like, can you take out the crust? And he's like, but it's all crust. And Squidward literally has to like peel the buns.
Yeah, it's just like a bun, like all white and airy.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, because like it also brings to mind like the Japanese like katsu sando. I think that's what it's called.
Oh, that's right. They don't have any crust.
Yeah, like every time they make it, that's literally one of the first steps or like the final steps where you cut off the crust specifically. And I'm like, but that's less sandwich you're getting right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess you take those sandwiches, you throw them in a panini press.
It just takes it to a whole new level.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, it's so fast. Like, the panini press warms up in like 2 minutes, and then you put your sandwich in there for like another 2 minutes, and you got a hot and toasty sandwich. Yeah. All right, Victor. I think we're done with talking about paninis. We can move on to something else.
Yeah, for sure. So before we started the podcast, I just wanted to bring up a question of cults to you, and
Uh,
it came to my mind just a little bit, but I figured that like since we're both fairly similar, we wouldn't really have experience in it. Because my question was just a simple: have you ever encountered a cult in the wild, I guess, or even online? Or have you ever been tried to recruit by a cult, or what's your experience with just cults in general?
oh, I mean, I haven't tried to have been recruited by cults.
Well, no, yeah, I know not tried, but
Yeah.
like, has anyone tried to recruit you, or even like
Uh,
a friend tried to like push you into something you weren't sure of?
so
So have
Victor,
you?
my
Mhm.
so my experience, like I don't have any real personal experience, but in the news recently, like there's this cult of like that like are satanic worshippers.
Really?
Yeah, and then like there's this cult, and they pretty much gone to war with like that one church, the really bad one.
The big one that everyone knows about.
Yeah, like the Westboro Church or something.
Oh yeah, okay, all right.
Yeah, they pretty much like went to war with them.
Uh-huh. Wait,
Like
wait, okay. So you're saying the satanic followers went to war against the Borough Baptist Church?
yeah, the Westboro Baptist Church.
There you go, Westboro. Yeah. Wait, what? How did that turn out? Tell me about
I
this.
don't
I've
know,
not heard
like
about.
that church is always in the news for like really outlandish things that they say.
Yeah, of course. I've heard plenty
But
of them.
some they said something that kind of sparked like these satanic worshippers to like uh take action.
Yeah.
And by take action they like did
Protests?
this no, they did this like quote unquote ceremony where basically
Uh-huh.
gay people started making out on like the gravestone of one of its founders.
Holy crap. Okay,
Like they
that's
would do the
oof.
whole like drink the blood from the chalice and then they would make out and then get a little intimate on on their founder's grave.
What?
And that like really
Upset them.
it's this whole crazy thing. I don't know what the hell's going on, like what even sparked it. You can do
Yeah.
more for if anyone who's listening is interested, you can look it up in great lengths.
Wow. But that's recent though?
Yeah, it's recent.
What? No way. God, that is crazy. I have not heard of that. I that did bring to memory. I did watch like this documentary of funny enough, satanic. Uh, I guess what are they called? Um, religious people,
You can
because they're
just say
not.
cultists.
Well, I was gonna say they're not a cult. Like they actually physically, they tried their best to make it into a real religion. And they themselves don't even call themselves Satanists. They just call themselves like I don't know what the fuck. I don't remember what it was. It was a long
Oh,
time
you
ago.
can just I guess followers or whatever.
Yeah, like followers of Lucifer, I guess that's what they would call themselves. But they generally went through the process, even like legally and did all the, by government. They processed all the papers to build a church that fought like Lucifer's church or Satan's church, something like that. And they actually, were a legit religion to in their eyes. They weren't a cult. They weren't trying to like initiate people through a sacrifice or like witchcraft or anything like that, like any negative imagery that comes to mind when you hear Satanist cults.
Uh-huh.
None of that. Like they were just legitly like, and pretty much like in Christian churches or Catholic churches, you would see like Jesus Christ on the cross when you walk into a church. Their chapels would be, the goat headed Lucifer or something like that, or like even the pentagram. It was something like that. It was something simple, and they welcomed everybody with open arms, and it wasn't like sacrificing goats, nothing like that. But in the documentary, they were talking about how like, of course everybody was against them just because the thought and the idea of like Lucifer was automatically came with negative connotations to it. So
Yeah.
everybody was like, the whole documentary was just explaining their struggles in wanting to be acknowledged as like a proper religion. And they even mentioned their like 10 commandments pretty much, and it was simple stuff like always help people just for the sake of being kind. um for you do not know what struggles they are going through, so always be kind no matter what. And it was to the point where it's like it was it was ideals that the new generation, or at least like people have slowly started to accept in their lives, ideals where it's like, why bring more misery into the world when everyone's pretty much struggling because life is just a struggle from the beginning.
Yeah.
So that was their ideals. That was their pretty much their religion. Like they would enforce it, and they would go out and help like homeless shelters and have like events where they would make food for homeless people. They would donate to charities and all that stuff. And they were like a nonprofit organization. So the documentary did a really good job showing them as like in a good light. And they fought against, one of them was definitely the Westboro Baptist Church. The other one were Christians from all over the country. And they even dived into details of like inner turmoil or just inner struggles that they had within their own religion when
Uh-huh.
when one of their members, like one of the high acting members, like one of the original people that created the religion or was helping build up the church and stuff, they took it too far. They started actually having like rave parties where it turned into orgies and taking drugs and alcohol and just drinking blood from animals and sacrificing stuff. And the main guy, like the CEO, the head of like the church, was like, this is not what we're part of. Like, yeah, we worship Satan, we worship Lucifer, but this, like, it never ever in the Bible or in like demonic history did they ever say they wanted sacrifices. That's something like humans came up with, or like witches or something. So it's
Uh-huh.
like, we don't want this in our church. And if you are going to continue this, then you are being, what's the word for it when you're getting kicked out of a religion?
Like excommunicated.
Exactly. Yeah, they were like, you're being excommunicated from the church, and anything you do from here on out is not going to be associated with the Church of Satan or something.
Uh-huh.
And that's pretty much it. Like after that, it's pretty much detailing their struggles within their own church and the struggles outside of their church and all this stuff. And it's a fascinating documentary. I don't remember what it was called. I think I saw it like on Hulu or something. But it just brought to memory of like, some people really do worship Satan as like an actual religion, and it at least brought to light in my eyes the difference between a religious person and a cultist. And I was
I
like,
see.
a cultist takes it too far to extremes where like it's not okay for them and it's not okay for the other people that get involved as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was, I guess that sums up like my experience with cultists. You know what I mean? A
Uh-huh.
little bit, because I myself have never experienced any cult. Like I've never seen it in real life. It's all through like media and stuff. The closest thing that comes to mind as a cult would be a really big church in like LA. Famous people are part of it. They are a religion, so I'm not gonna say which one specifically. I'm pretty sure you guys could guess.
Yeah.
But that they are religions, so they're not an official cult, but I see them as one just because of the stuff they've done and the stuff that like they have for the people that are part of their religion and they don't want to listen to their rules. They like throw them in a farm or something and pretty much torture them. But that's, I haven't researched myself. Go research that if you want to, learn more about that. Don't take my pretty much take my information with a grain of salt.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, that's my closest experience with cults.
All right. Well, before I share my experience, I think we should take a quick break for our
Oh,
Spotify listeners.
yeah, definitely. Thank you guys so much for listening on Spotify. If you are, you a
Yeah.
real one.
Yeah, don't forget to follow if you are on Spotify or, well, I mean, we already said this. We always say this. You know what to do.
Yeah, thank you. We appreciate you guys, and we'll be right back.
All right, and we're back.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for listening to that. We appreciate it.
While I was growing up, I don't remember where this information came about, or who even told me, but somebody said that like my religion, the Seventh-day Adventists, were considered a cult.
Oh, what?
To like the U.S. government, or to like the Catholic Church, somebody like someone somewhere out there considers Seventh-day Adventists to be cultists.
You sure it wasn't like maybe just a friend or like a person that like their mom raised them to believe that?
Nah, I have no idea, but it's like that image of like Seventh-day Adventists being cultists is hilarious to me. Because most Seventh-day Adventists are like vegetarians.
Yeah.
You know, they go to church on Saturdays, don't eat pork.
Some of them don't eat beef.
Yeah. Well, vegetarians.
Well, exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Some of Seventh-day Adventists, they still eat like, you know, chicken and beef and stuff, even though like in the Bible it says it's okay, but to hardcore Adventists, they're like, you have to be vegetarian.
Oh, okay, really? I actually didn't know that.
Okay. But yeah, like just that image is funny because my church, like the average worshiper at my church is probably like 60 years old, is like Filipino, you know, barely speaks English or like speaks English conversationally, and they just go to church to, you know, worship and praise God.
Yeah, like you don't really see them doing anything negative.
I know. I just imagine like, you know, 80-year-old deacon like in one of those cult hoodies. Like, let us turn our Bibles to Thessalonians. Thessalonian.
I see we have a non-believer within our midst.
Yeah. So it was just funny. And I mean, I think the reason why we're like people consider the Seventh-day Adventist cultists is just because like we separated ourselves from the church because of the teachings of like one of our like well-known disciples. I don't know too much about this because like I wasn't super hardcore into the religion. Like I just followed the basic stuff, you know. I followed what the Bible said. I listened to like the Saturday sermons, and you know.
Yeah, like you were raised with the beliefs, but you weren't an active member in the community of the religion.
Yeah, but basically the teachings of Ellen G. White is what separated, like, I guess, Adventists from like evangelists or Baptists or something. And yeah, and also people like give us weird faces because it's like I like to describe Adventists as like a mixture between Jewish Islam. Is it Islam? No, it's
Judaism.
Yeah, I think Judaism. Yeah, it's like a mixture between Judaism and Christianity because it's like the big thing is we go to church on Saturday because we believe that the Sabbath is on Saturday. We listen to the Old Testament versus the New Testament. That's why we don't eat pork and shrimp and crabs and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then just a bunch of other stuff.
See, that's interesting because I always believed, like, just from my experience with like media and how they talk about Seventh-day Adventists, I always believed that they were pretty much fairly similar to Christians, but instead of just going to church on Sunday, they went on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean that's like the big difference because like the core beliefs, like yeah, we do stick to the Old Testament more than the New Testament, but it's like what separates us from being, you know, Jewish is that we believe that like Christ is the Son of God.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
And we do believe in like a heaven and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's fascinating.
I just find it funny how we're a cult technically, or like to somebody.
I mean, with this new information, it kind of, at least to me, you know, just to me personally, it sounds like maybe the other religions, or at least someone who from the religion that believed Seventh-day Adventists were a cult, they just, you know, their religion, but didn't like that the Seventh-day Adventists separated from them in the first place, and therefore from then on just considered you guys a cult just
I
because
know.
you know
They're
it
just jealous because we
troubled them.
yeeted out of the church.
They're just jealous that we followed our own teachings.
Yeah, there is one weird thing that stood out to me when I was like growing up in the church.
Oh, what was that?
There was this one family
Uh-huh.
that they didn't attend our church. They were from like a sister church.
Oh, okay.
But she came to our church because she wanted to promote this like youth scouts or like basically Boy Scouts, but for Adventists that are called like Pathfinders.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And I was interested because I was like, "Oh, cool! We get to learn how to tie knots and make bows and go fishing and eat
And
s'mores and stuff."
yeah, and like
You
survive
know,
the
like
wilderness.
yeah, typical camping stuff.
Yeah, of
But
course.
then, like when she was giving her speech and stuff, and like her when she was recruiting us,
Uh-huh.
like she said something that was really off-putting. That was like, "Oh, we're not teaching you these skills to like, you know, survive out in the wilderness for fun. Like, there's gonna come a day that your faith is gonna get tested and your religion is gonna be prosecuted, and we're gonna have to like live in the woods and stuff in order to stay faithful to God."
What the fuck?
And you
Really?
need these like yeah, and you need like and she was like, you need these outdoor skills so that way you can survive and would have continue to practice and fight for your religion. And
Yeah,
then
like
I was just like, that's too much, lady. I just want to make s'mores.
I just want to sit around a campfire with my friends and enjoy a good time. What's going on? That
Yeah,
is,
I didn't really have friends at church
but yeah, but still, you
because
could have
like
made some.
because like the majority of the youth that were at my church were just my cousins.
Oh, I see. So you're just like, I'm good by
Like going to
myself.
church was more like family reunion.
Oh, okay. But that's very weird. I wonder why she phrased it that way.
I could be completely wrong about this, but I think like in the Old Testament, there's a passage that
Uh-huh.
says like you should be ready to fight those who want to like trample on your beliefs.
Oh,
And
okay.
then I think it's because the Old Testament is like it's heavily inspired by the Torah, and a lot of old school like Jewish clans were warrior people.
What? No way.
Yeah, like the what's his name? King Solomon. He was
Uh-huh.
Jew. He was very important to the Bible because he's like he's like the king that God bestowed wisdom upon.
Whoa, hold on. King Solomon was Jewish?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. See that they're my religious ignorance is shining through right
He's king
there.
of Jews.
But
I'm
yeah,
pretty sure. I can double check this right now.
sure, but because like, I mean, I'm not surprised he is. You know, it's just caught me off guard mainly because the story of King Solomon. For some reason, I always just saw him as like not being religion in general, like not being religious himself, but just like eventually becoming religious because of like that story of like God bestowed him with like immeasurable wisdom,
It
and then he
might be.
became like, you know, an apostle or something, or just like, you
Yeah.
know, a great influencer of sorts. But for some reason my mind never associated with him a specific religion like Jewish or Christianity. I just assumed he was like a figurehead of just God himself for some reason.
No. So King Solomon, like I don't know his origins. It's been a long time since Sunday school or
Uh-huh.
Saturday school for
Oh yeah,
me.
and the story is itself is like ancient.
Yeah, but basically King Solomon, he's a biblical Israelite king who built the first temple of Jerusalem and
Ooh.
who is revered in Judaism and Christianity and in Islam as a prophet.
Ah, I see. So I wasn't far off when many religions have heard of him.
Yeah, like
Ah.
he's well known because basically like the story is like he became king
Mm-hmm.
after his father David died,
Mm-hmm.
and he didn't know how to rule, so he prayed to God, and God was like bestow me with a power. I think God gave him a choice, like, do you want to be powerful, do you want to be wealthy, like what is it? And
Yeah.
then instead of doing all that, he was like, give me the wisdom to lead my people. So God bestowed like infinite wisdom on him.
That is pretty cool. Even for someone who's not religious as that story always like astonishes me, you know?
But
Like
yeah, but before that, like in the beginning, there were a lot of these like warrior clans who did practice Judaism, and it makes sense because Judaism is like the oldest religion in the world.
Yeah, of course. Like even Jesus Christ himself was Jewish, right?
Yeah,
He was Hebrew.
yep.
But it still surprises me. I cannot see, like, nowadays, every time I think of a Jewish person, I always see them as very kind and just like wise people, and I cannot see them as like a warrior clan, fighting for their religion. I'm kind of like shocked to imagine a Jewish person acting the same way as like what was those times called? The Crusades? You know what I mean? With
Yeah.
Christianity, it's like that. Like I can't associate the two together. It's very weird.
I don't know. Times change people. Like right now, you think of like, well, because like I can speak for Mexican people since we're Mexicans,
Yeah, of
and
course.
it's like the typical stereotype for Mexicans is like, oh, I don't know, we're hardworking or we're lazy or some shit like that,
Yeah, it's like that contradiction where we're both hardworking people, but at the same time we're incredibly lazy.
Yeah, we just know how to take breaks, all right.
Yeah.
Maybe our breaks last like the whole day,
Yeah,
but we put in our work.
exactly. It's like, how do you think we get so hardworking?
But yeah, like you look at I don't know, freaking Doña Maria que she only makes like some tortillas on the weekend.
Yeah.
But her lineage of people, if you trace it back, they were like the Aztecs, the Olmecs, the Mayans, and these were like these warrior people.
That's true. You're right. That's a good point. I didn't think of that.
Same thing with people who are Ethiopians. Like Ethiopia was like the only country during colonialization that was able to keep out any colonizers.
Really?
Yeah, Ethiopia was like never colonized.
Yo, that's pretty badass. But was that because they had like, they were strong with their own beliefs, or like they fought off the invaders, or what?
They were able to fight off the invaders because they had a very good understanding of not only the terrain and their land, but their leaders were also very, they were very smart when it came to wartime tactics.
Ooh, that's awesome. Wow, I didn't know that.
It's like everyone in their, like, no matter who you are or what race or ethnicity you belong to, there was a time where your people were like hunter gatherers, were warriors, were all these things before they became what they are now.
Yeah. But well, just to touch upon that story you told me about your experience with a camp that was being hosted by your church.
Yeah, the Pathfinders.
Yeah, the Pathfinders.
So Nissan I had Pathfinders.
Yeah, the what? The Nissan?
Yeah, there's an actual car that's called Pathfinder.
Yeah, no wonder. I was like, where have I heard that before? Yeah, so I had a similar experience with that with my Catholic church. Not too long ago, I think I was like 15 or 16. I was still like in high school, and I was like, um I was still introverted, but I was in that phase of my life where I wanted to, meet new people, make new friends, and I was just more open to social activities, and I wasn't part of any like after school activities or programs, so I was like, maybe I could do something with my extra time that I have after school. And I went to church one day with my parents, and there was this guy that was recruiting people, like especially teenagers. It was specifically meant for like kids from I think 10 to 16 years old. And he saw me and he was like, "Hey, how old are you?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm 15." And he was like, "Oh, that's great. Would you like to join our camp? It's a Catholic camp where we just, take teenagers to like the woods and camp out for like the weekend. It's only like a 3-day thing. And, we just try to be friends and get to know each other." And at the time, just hearing that, I was like, yeah, for sure. I mean, it would be a great excuse to meet new people and hopefully make new friends. And I signed up, and he was like, "Oh, perfect. All right. Well, we'll call you when like a week before we plan to head out, and just to make sure that, if you're still pretty much up for it." And I was like, "Yeah, that's fine." So I think like a month passed, and then he like hit me up at my home phone, And he was like, "Hey, so this is blah blah. I'm just checking up to see if you're still interested in joining us for our weekend camp trip for the Catholic Church." And I don't know what came over me, but like I changed my mind just because I guess I it had to do with religion, and I myself have never been fully a religious person, and I feel really uncomfortable when it comes to talking about my religion or any religion in general. If it's not about learning about that religion, like I'll gladly talk about religion to with anybody if they're the ones teaching me something new that I never heard of. You know, like pretty much like what you've been doing this whole podcast.
Yeah.
But I knew I got this weird sensation that this camp trip was gonna be about furthering your I guess your beliefs
Your
in the
love of God.
religion. Exactly, yeah. Like they were gonna
Yeah.
be drilling you nonstop about like, you know why our religion is so good. Like this is why, and this is why you should care about it, and maybe you should do more. You know, do you love God? Do you not want to go to hell? That sort of stuff. So I guess that's what changed my mind. And I told the guy, I was like, "Nah, I'm not interested anymore." And he was so adamant on like, "No, why not? Like, why did you change your mind? Like, please come. Like, we need all the people we can get, and blah blah blah." Like pretty much like a sob story of like how they need a certain amount of people or else they won't be able to go.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but I was like, I need to be honest with this guy. I guess maybe a sob story worked on me a little bit, but I was like, I gotta be honest. I don't feel comfortable talking about my religion or just religion in general. So maybe I feel like I wouldn't, you know, be very comfortable in a 3-day camp when it's all about religion. Like I feel like I would be very isolated, or I would feel very disassociated with everybody. And he tried so hard to convince me. He was like, no, it's not about religion. Like, yeah, sure, it's through the Catholic Church that we're doing this, but sorry, it's mainly about just teaching, kids how to survive in the wilderness and hopefully making new friends. It's not about religion. And I was like, okay, well then what do you plan on like doing specifically? Like can you show me the schedule, or like can you like give me a quick summary of what you have planned? And he was like, yeah, sure, of course. We're gonna be like out in the woods, we're gonna be out in the mountains, we're gonna be doing some hikes, we're gonna be like reading passages from the Bible and telling stories of like Jesus Christ and the Virgin Mary and all this stuff. And I was like, see, right there. Nah, I'm not down for that. He's like, what's wrong with that? Like, it's stuff that everybody knows if you went to like Sunday school. And I was like, there you go. I didn't go to Sunday school. I never took my first communion, and that's mainly because I never really was religious myself, so I never felt passionate enough to go through that process. And he was like, "Oh, oh, I see. Okay, yeah, yeah. Then in that case, you might feel very uncomfortable being around all of us." And I was like, "Oh, thank you. You finally understand. Oh my god. Oh, that's such a huge relief." And I was like, "Okay, well, thank you for understanding why I won't be going." And he was like, "No. You misunderstand me. I still want you to come. Like, but hopefully we'll be able to open your eyes and maybe open your heart to Jesus Christ." I'm like, "You lost me. That for sure sealed the deal that I'm not going. I'm sorry." And I was just like funny enough, after that conversation he was like, okay, well, thank you so much for taking the time to hear me out. I'm sorry that you won't be coming, but um I appreciate it. And I was like, yeah, no problem, man. Like I'm sorry that I couldn't join you guys, but I wouldn't feel comfortable. And he's like, all right, well, have a good day. And then 2 days later, I think before he was heading out, he called me again. He was like, hey, I'm looking for Victor. I'm like, yeah, speaking. It's like, so we're heading out tomorrow. Are you sure you don't want to go? And I'm like, bro, I just told you. I thought we understood each other. Like, what's going on? And he was like, I'm just, being Catholic is so amazing. Like Jesus Christ loves you, and I just want you to let you know that. And through His love, you'll be able to like save your soul. And I was like, bro, I've heard it all. Like, if I want to hear a whole preach about how much Jesus Christ loves me or how much He's my savior, I could just open the door to like, the Mormons when they come knocking at my door. And he kind of like got offended that I compared him to a different religion or something, and he was
Uh,
like, "Oh, well, you could have just said no. You didn't have to insult me." And I was like, "What? It, no, I wasn't trying to insult you. I was just like, just stop being so persistent. Like I already gave you my answer." But in the end, he was just like, "All right, well, thank you. Have a good day." And that was the last I heard of him.
oh,
Yeah, but that was
I
my
feel like Mormons get a bad rap just because they're persistent.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing wrong about it. That's the whole point of like trying to get more people into your religion.
Yeah.
And
See, like, without going into too much detail, like
uh-huh,
I don't have as bad of an experience as like most people do with Mormons.
uh-huh,
Where they they like badger you, or they are very persistent in like trying to get you to hear the word of the Latter-day Saints.
uh-huh,
Because every time someone has come to my house saying like, "Hi, we're here to talk about like the Church of Latter-day Saints or something," like I always tell them like, "Oh, we're Adventists here," and
mm-hmm.
then they're like, they have this like look that they're just so understanding, like, "Oh, it's so nice to hear that like you are a religious family," and then they're like, "But I mean, can I quickly just like read a passage with you? Like I feel so." They give me that speech.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I already told them I'm religious, so I'm like, yeah, sure, like I don't mind hearing something. And then they'll read it, and then they just have that look that like they were able to spread their word, and then they're like, "You have a blessed day," and I'm like, "You know what? You too. Do you want some water or something?" And they're like,
Yeah.
"Yeah,
Yeah. See, that's my experiences with them too.
yeah."
Um
Like they're not bad people. They're not creepy trying to break into your house so that they can talk to you. Like they're just
yeah.
doing their mission work.
Exactly, and it's like if you just treat them as the people they are, they'll leave you alone, and that's the end of it. It's not
Yeah,
like they're gonna force the religion on you. Because I do remember my mom, where we used to live, she posted up a little like a paper that stated, "We are Catholics in this house, and all other religions are not welcome." And I told my mom, I was like, "That's pretty harsh. Like, why are you putting that up?" And he's like, "Well, I don't want those in Spanish we call them aleluyas." And she was like,
yeah,
I don't want those aleluyas coming here. I want them to just see it and then understand that we don't want to hear any of their religion." And I'm like, I just accepted. I was like, whatever, it's your house. Like I'll follow your rules, like no problem. And then one day when I was by myself, some Mormons came to a house, and I opened the door, and I was just like, "Hey," they were like, "Hey, can we talk to you about, our church?" And I was like, I'm actually like I'm not religious myself, but my family in this house is Catholic, and my mom actually put that sign outside. I'm sorry if it offends." And they were like, "No, no, no, not at all. Like we completely understand." And of course, they also did the same thing where they're like, "I was just hoping maybe we could share a passage with you, just so that we could share, our knowledge about God or something like that." I forgot what they said exactly. And
yeah,
and again, I told him, I was like, "I'm not religious, so I don't have much knowledge of the Bible or God himself or anybody. So, uh, sure, like if you wish to share this with me, go for it." And then they did. They shared the passage, and I was like, "Thank you, honestly. Like, uh, I never heard that passage before." And they were like, "Well, thank you so much. Like, thank you for hearing us out. Here's a little brochure if you want to read more upon the passage that we shared." And I was like, "All right, I appreciate it." And they were like, "Have a good day. Thank you so much for hearing us out." And it made me feel so happy because it's like it sounded like so many people just shut their door in their face. And I'm like, "Oh my god, these poor guys are just having a rough day or something."
yeah.
Yeah, they do
I
get a
don't know
bad
how
rap
this whole podcast came to be talking about religion, but it was nice.
though. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I learned a lot through this podcast, especially from what you've told me. So
Yeah,
thank you, Jolin.
no problem. And
Um,
maybe you'll consider being. Oh, I was gonna say something like when the guy was like pestering you, like, "Oh, what are you gonna do at this Catholic camp?" I was like, dude, he's just gonna straight up tell you like we're gonna sing kumbayas about Jesus.
We're gonna sit around a campfire, maybe roast some s'mores, and I'm like, ooh, that sounds good. And then we're gonna pull out the guitar and sing Kumbaya with Jesus Christ. I'm like, maybe next time.
I know. It's like, what, you don't want to sit around the campfire singing about the love of God. You don't want to get fish tattoos and your favorite book and verse chapter tattooed on your arm.
And I'm like, not really. I was kind of getting thinking of getting a tattoo of my favorite anime, and they're like, oh, blasphemy.
They were like, dude, Jesus loves anime.
Jesus Kun, come on, haven't you heard of him?
Yeah.
Oh man, that'd be funny.
But yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. But I think that will do it for this podcast. Wouldn't you say, Joel? Any last stories you want to share? And last tidbits, information?
Just like a little quickie, maybe like 7 minutes.
Okay. Oh, okay. I started a little too early.
10 minutes.
No, it's all good.
I don't want people to imply anything. There's nothing wrong with. But what I'm trying to get at is, I'm one of those people who watches movies.
Yeah.
And the genre and the feel of the movie like really affects me.
Ooh, what do you mean?
So if I watch like a horror movie, right? Like I have this like overwhelming sense of paranoia that something is watching, that like things move.
Do you see things out of the corner of your eye?
Because I have like an overactive imagination. And then if I watch action movies, I'm like feeling good the whole day. Like I want to do like cartwheels and fucking, beat up 10 people at once.
You get pumped.
Like I'm one of those kind of movie watchers. Like I don't just watch a movie and I'm like, that was good. And then like just leave it at that. So where I'm going with this is that I finally saw that anime movie, A Silent Voice.
Oh, you did?
I saw it before we started filming.
Oh, dude, how is it? I've been wanting to see it.
That anime movie, that movie just got me.
Is it good? Is it heart-wrenching?
It's very heart-wrenching. It made me feel like such a shitty person.
What? No, what? Why?
Like, without giving too much away, basically, like, there's this boy, I forget his name.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure you get the idea from like the trailer, Netflix trailer or something like that.
Yeah. So there's this guy, this kid. Sorry.
Okay.
This kid, and then he's kind of like the bad boy / prankster in the class.
I see, the one who acts out.
Yeah, and then one day this girl moves in and joins the class, but she's deaf.
Okay.
And he doesn't know how to like speak to her, and everyone is having a hard time adjusting because it's like they can't just talk to her. They have to like write stuff out in this notebook that she has, and she tries her best to like be inclusive and
make
talk
friends
to everyone, make friends.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But then, like, he starts getting annoyed with her, like, because even though she's deaf, she can still speak. But she has that like weird. She has like a weird sense of speech because she can't like hear herself talk.
Yeah, it's like kind of almost
she
like
doesn't have like very sharp vocalizations as we do.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so then like he gets annoyed with how he speaks, and then it starts by him like prank, like just making fun of her in class, and then it grows and grows until he's like actually bullying her.
Oh, that's not good.
And then later, like, shit happens later on in life. He feels horrible about it because she ends up moving away from the school.
Aww.
Because the mom is like, I think people are bullying my daughter.
Yeah. And
then everyone like starts pointing fingers like, oh, it's him. He's the one who's bullying her. And he basically becomes a loner.
Oh, damn. They push him away because of his actions.
Yeah, so basically he becomes a loner for like the majority of his school life, and then his like I guess senior year of high school, he like wants to make amends because he like for some stuff that I'm not going to talk about because it's going to ruin it's going to ruin the movie.
Okay, well, I mean, I know for a fact you could talk about this because like the Netflix trailer that I saw touches upon it, but I remember seeing a scene where like I think they were still school kids, and he like rips her like hearing aid off, and it
Yeah.
causes like damage to her like really badly.
Yeah.
Is that the action that like he feels really bad about, or what?
Like it's everything.
Ah, okay, all right.
Everything, like the way that he treated her, because like she's so nice to him too. Like
Even after him treating her that bad.
yeah, like even in sign language, she's like, "I want us to be friends,"
Oh no!
and he's still
What?
like he doesn't know how to like process it, so he just acts out. Like he takes the little notebook that she writes and like throws it in the river.
Oh, what a dick!
I know, but it's the movie's so heart wrenching, and it's like it's heart wrenching, but it's so good at the same time. But
Uh-huh.
it got to me, and it made me think like I wasn't really a bully in
Mhm.
school, but I definitely had times where I took a joke too far.
Uh-huh.
Like I like and one instance came to mind where like in maybe some people listening don't have this experience, but when you're in like grade school, when it's your birthday, the like your friends will come up and punch you like however old you're turning.
Oh yeah, I remember that tradition.
So there was one kid in my class, he turned like 11, and like I was like, "Ooh, it's time for your birthday punches." And he
Mhm.
was just like, "No, like please." But I actually like started punching him, and I think I only got up to like 5, and he actually started crying.
Oh, for real?
And luckily, like even back then, I had the foresight to be like, I had the foresight, and I had like the intuition to be like, "No, this is wrong."
Oh, and you
So like I
apologize?
didn't continue, and I
Uh-huh.
just told him like, "Hey, like I'm really sorry. Like I
Oh,
took this too far."
yeah.
And then I kind of left, and later on like he just came back and started talking to me like it was normal, but I still felt like super guilty, and I was like, I made this kid cry.
Yeah. And you were
And like
and you were like just surprised that he was like, "How could you just forgive me like that?" Like without saying
that,
anything.
and it's like it's one of those things that like when I really feel like crap, I look back on that and I'm just like I I'm not proud of that time,
Yeah,
of that moment.
it's one of those like memories of your past mistakes that constantly keep haunting you just to make sure you never repeat that action, right?
Yeah, it's one of
Mhm.
those memories that you have that like grounds you.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, I have plenty of those.
Yeah, but it's just like it makes me feel like that movie, because I'm this kind of movie watcher where like the feel of the movie affects my actual feelings.
Yeah.
I was like beating myself up.
Oh, like you could
Like
relate
very
to it
slightly.
on
I
a whole
was
nother
like I
level.
could have like I was such a jerk back then. Like I did stuff just to be cool
Mhm.
or to be funny when like it came at the cost of someone. Like I don't know if like a kid that I like made fun of for smelling bad, like if that still like sticks with him today.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. And it's like that goes back to the whole like idea of like in high school itself is your world. You know, like you don't really take into consideration the outside world. So it's like when you do stuff like that, even if you're just joking around to make others laugh, it's like you never really take into consideration if they're thinking about it when they're at home, like what you did and if that affected them negatively or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does. Damn, that movie got you thinking all this?
Yeah, it's oh
Oh
my
my
god,
god.
it
Oh,
hits
oh,
you in the feels so hard.
oh my god. Okay, hold on. My question is, I'm pretty sure it's not really spoiler, but my question is, after in high school when he was like feeling all this like bad about his previous actions, does he reach out and contact her again, or he just?
Yeah,
Oh, he does.
yeah. And
Oh man.
the reason why is pretty spoilery, so I'm not gonna say it.
All right. Well, fuck. I gotta watch this movie. It sounds so good.
I know it's oh my god, it's such a good movie, but it hits you so hard in the feels. I'm like, I can't.
Yeah, that sounds super relatable. Oh my
Though it
god.
also reminded me of this one kid that we went to middle school and high school with. I'm not gonna say his name,
Uh huh.
but it's like he's the only exception that like to this day I don't feel bad for like making fun of him or pointing his shit out.
Uh huh. Is
Because he would he would let you make fun of him, and then he would like turn it around to a
and
point where it's like he would want you to feel sorry for him, but he would never like defend himself.
what?
You know what I
Okay,
mean?
without revealing who he is, like
I mean,
was
I could just bleep out the name.
no, it's fine. I mean, I was just gonna ask, like, was he a pale kid?
No.
He wasn't. Oh, then it's not the same person we're thinking of.
No.
Okay.
I'm just gonna bleep out the name. It was.
Oh, okay. Or him. All right. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I
know
know
how
who. I
like
know what you're talking about.
he would like let you make fun of him, and then later on he would just like he wouldn't even say like I didn't appreciate that. He would just like say something like, "Oh, you hate me, huh?" And then you would try to be like, "No, dude, it's not that I hate you. It's just like
You gotta work on that.
something."
Uh-huh.
And then when you actually try to be nice to him, he would like I don't know treat you differently or something. So it's like one day I just got tired of it, and I was like, "Yeah, I do. I don't hate you, but I don't like you. We're not friends."
it. Yeah, I get you.
Like
I get
I guess sorry like in his mind, if you made fun of him, that was like his gateway to like be your friend.
really.
Uh, you didn't have that
Like
kind
that's.
of experience?
I didn't. I mean, that's what I was gonna say. Like my experience with him was like I never made fun of him, but I had plenty of conversations with him, and but they weren't like friendly conversations. They were just like mandatory conversations because we were like working together, or maybe like I don't know, a friend of mine was talking to him, so I just went to go join the conversation. But he never considered me a friend, or if he ever did, he never actually told me or showed it the way he showed it to you. You know what I mean? So
I think it's because of that thing that happened in freshman year
what?
with his girlfriend.
Oh yeah, he probably hated me.
Yeah. So
I
like
just remembered that.
in my experience, it went like this, right?
Yeah.
He would talk to you, then you would make
Mhm.
fun or like you would make fun of him. That was the first part.
Okay.
Then he would try to talk to you and you would make fun of him more.
Uh-huh.
Then he would say something like, "Oh, you hate me," or like, "We're not friends," right? Or something like that. So you would feel bad. And then you would say, "No, dude, like we're friends." And then that opened the door to him just being like having casual conversations or coming up to you and like wanting to talk like in my case, he always wanted to talk about bro stuff
Oh, okay.
because I guess no one ever wanted to talk to him about like his romantic encounters.
Uh-huh.
You would hear it out, you would get annoyed by him, and then be like, "Dude, leave me alone," or you would like make fun of him again, and then he would go, and then the cycle continues.
Oof. God, that's not a good experience with him.
So the only way that I broke that cycle off, I was just by straight up telling him like, "I don't hate you, but we're not friends."
Yeah, you're brutally honest with him, and he got the
Yeah, and then he was like, "What? Why aren't we friends?" And I told him exactly the same thing. I was like, "You let yourself get made fun of because that's your way of like letting people. That's your excuse to like become quote unquote friends with them because
Uh-huh.
like you want them to feel sorry for you, so you play the victim."
Ooh.
And then I really got him, and he hasn't spoken to me since.
Damn. Maybe that helped him open his eyes, I guess. I don't know.
Hopefully,
I actually haven't talked to him in a long time, so maybe I can't even tell if he's changed or not.
he tried to reach out to me like 2 years after we graduated high school, but I was like, "What are you doing?"
Like we're not friends.
And then he was just like, "I just wanted to see how you are." And I was like, "Dude, remember the last time we talked? I told you we're not friends."
Oh,
And
damn.
then that just stopped.
Oh my god, that sounds so harsh for the Jolin that we know.
It like
but
he left
honestly,
me no other choice.
exactly. Like honestly, if I
But
was in your
it's
shoes, I'd do the
harsh.
same thing.
Yeah,
Yeah. But that's the thing. At least with him, I never had that experience. Like
because I
it,
think he hated you.
maybe he did, and maybe that's why. But like in middle school, I never like whenever I did, like I said, whenever I did have conversation with him, it was just simple. It was never like I never made fun of him. I never went out of my way to make him think we were friends. It was just literally like colleagues conversation, and he was cool with it. And in high school, I think he was like slowly starting to consider me a friend. And then we had this whole like I had this whole instance where I pretty much made his girlfriend at the time realize why she was with him. Like I was genuinely curious because I was like, I asked the same question to the girlfriends that get with my friends. Like, um, you
Like
know,
what you see in him.
yeah, exactly. Like, what do you see in him? Like, what attracts you to him? And that's mainly my way of just saying, like, if anything, getting a compliment from the girlfriend, or at least my way of gauging them to see, like, if they're a good person or if they could say something nice about my friend.
Yeah.
But in this instance, with him at least, it backfired completely, because when I asked her, "What do you see in him? Like, what attracts you to him?" My other friend that was with me, he was like, "Dude, that's a messed up question." I was like, No. Like, you're taking it the wrong way. Like, I'm genuinely curious. Like I want to hear a compliment from her." And she, like, I guess it kind of hit her out of nowhere that she had nothing nice to say about the other dude. And she was like, uh, because he's nice. And I was like, all right, well, what has he done that's nice? Like just give me an example, and I'll most likely agree with you, because he isn't a bad guy. And she couldn't come up with an example. And instead, she gave me a different reason. Was like, he makes me laugh. And I was like, really? Okay, well then, tell me a funny instance or a funny joke. And I most likely won't be able to laugh, because it's a you had to be there sort of thing. But
Yeah.
just I was pretty much trying to force a compliment out of her, but it backfired in a sense where it kind of made her realize that, like, maybe I don't like this guy. And after that, he never tried to, see me as a friend, or never tried to converse with me after that. And I learned, like, shortly, like 2 weeks after that conversation, they broke up. And ever since then, I was like, ooh, was that my doing? Oops. Yeah, but I never had that experience with that guy.
I know. Quick, Victor, think of something upbeat to leave the episode on. We can't just leave it at this.
The universe is a simulation. God is dead. Santa Claus is not real. Oh my god.
Happy things.
No, Joel, sorry. Only negativity is coming through. Oh my god, I'm sorry.
Oh my god. Well, anyways, thank you everybody for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you guys. We appreciate it. Remember, comment down below what interesting things about your religion, or maybe what religion you are. What's your experience with dealing with being a bully, or maybe being bullied. We'd love to hear your stories as well.
Also, let me know if you're in the same boat as I am, where the panini press has both blessed and cursed your life. Share your favorite panini recipes,
or even just share down below what item or just what stuff has changed your life for the better and worse at the same time.
Exactly, but specifically panini related. All right, I'm very intrigued by anyone's panini stories.
Definitely. And since you're down there, remember to leave a like, subscribe for future episodes. For those Spotify listeners, remember to follow, and remember, we appreciate you, and thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, look both ways before you cross the street, and we'll see you all next time. Bye, everybody.
Stay beautiful.